understand elbow and what is the difference between these two conditions. Now, you can have elbow pain due to quite a few different conditions, but the most common ones are golfer's elbow and tennis elbow. However, there seems to be a confusion around these two conditions. So I just thought of doing this video to clarify the simple points that will help you to differentiate between the two, and also some points that are common between these two conditions, and probably that's why people get confused between them. Now, if you're an executive mom and you're balancing your work, your family, personal commitments, professional commitments, dealing with tennis elbow or golfer's elbow, basically any kind of elbow pain, can just add to the everyday challenges. So it is important to know where your pain is coming from so that you can manage these conditions yourself or with your healthcare professional or between the two of you. And just understanding the pain itself is the first step towards the solution towards this pain. All right, so let's talk about understanding golfer's elbow and tennis elbow and what is the difference. Now, before we get into the topic for today, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Swati. I'm an executive mom power coach. I help moms of younger kids who work in high stress executive jobs to manage their spinal, that is back and neck, and nerve pain. I do this by giving you simple exercises, some easy lifestyle modifications, some tips and tricks that have helped me in my own pain journey. Now, I do all of this without taking away a big chunk of your time because, hey, we're moms, we're busy people, right? So, getting back into understanding golfer's elbow and tennis elbow and what's the difference. Now, both tennis elbow and golfer's elbow are overuse injuries. Basically, when you repeatedly move your your arms, that is your elbow and your wrist or fingers, in a certain fashion, you tend to overuse that area or those tendons or muscles, and that is what gives rise to, most of the times, that's what gives rise to golfer's elbow and tennis elbow. Now, obviously, they can also result from trauma to the area. Say you have fallen down and you've hit the outside of your elbow or any part of your elbow, or you have by mistake walked into the wall or the door, or somebody shut the door while you're standing there and it goes and hits your elbow. So there can be a number of causes, of course. But if you have this repeated trauma or repeated overuse injury, there can be some micro tears in the area, in the tendons. It can lead to swelling, inflammation, and of course, pain. Now, they are called tennis elbow and golfer's elbow, but those who do not play golf or tennis can also get these pains. So if you've never touched a tennis racket or a golf club in your life and you have this pain, do not think that it is not possible for you to have these two conditions. In fact, these two conditions are found more in these group of athletes or people who play golf and tennis, and that's why the official name for tennis elbow is lateral epicondylitis, and for golfer's elbow is medial epicondylitis. Now, why this name? And that brings us to the differences between the golfer's elbow and tennis elbow. So when you look at your elbow, this is the point of your elbow, this is the inner side here. So if you like move around, say 1 or 2 finger breadth to the inside, and about, for me it's about 1.5, it could be 1 or 2 finger breadth on the outside. So if you have these 3 points, right, this is the point of your elbow, so just ignore this, let's take this away. So if this is the lateral epicondyle or the bony outer part of the elbow, this bone is called the medial epicondyle or the inner bony part of the elbow. So when you have pain on the outside here, it is the lateral epicondyle which has got inflammation, and that is why it's called lateral epicondylitis. So the itis basically denotes inflammation in any part of the body. And when you have medial epicondyle, this bone here is inflamed, this is known as medial epicondylitis. I'm explaining you this because you might see this on your doctor's reports, or your doctors might refer to these terms, so it's good to know about them. Anyway, so this was about the location of the pain. Now, what happens in tennis elbow? Let's have a look at this bone here. So if I was to move, okay, if I was to move my wrist up and down, I don't know if you can see this, but these are the muscles that are working. So if I was to do this, Can you see the movement in my muscles in the forearm here? So what happens is from this bony part on the outer elbow, there are muscles that are coming down. So this bulk of your forearm here, they're coming down and then they split up into these tendons. Tendons are these rope-like structures. Basically, they are a part of your muscles. So they split around the wrist level. They split into these four tendons. So there's a different mechanism for the thumb. So these four here, and then they go and attach into the fingers, into different joints of the fingers. And similarly, on the inner part here, so can you see the movement here in my forearm? There. So when I move my fingers, there is a muscle that is attached to the inner part of my elbow. And again, it splits into four tendons and goes into these four fingers and the joints of my fingers. When there's an inflammation on the outer part, and then the pain can radiate down into this forearm, into the the darker part here, and this is the lighter part. So this darker part here, and it can even radiate down into your fingers and hands. This is typical of tennis elbow. Similarly, on the other side, if you have pain on the inner elbow, or you have pain radiating down into your into your forearm here, the lighter part of the forearm, that's the inner part, into your fingers and hands, especially if your nerve is entrapped, it's the ulnar nerve, it can give rise to tingling, numbness, or nerve pain in these two fingers, in the little and the ring finger. Of course, if you want to know more about nerve pain, you can go to my YouTube channel. I've done quite a few videos on nerve pain, or you can search my name, Swati Prakash Nerve Pain, and this will all come up for you. All right, so going back to our tennis and golfer's elbow. I'm just looking at my notes here just to make sure that I don't miss anything. Yeah. So you will have pain or tenderness on this outer elbow. You might have wrist pain, especially after you do any extension. That is, this is the wrist neutral position. This is extension. So basically, when you lift it up, this kind of activity, say, for example, if I'm lifting a bag of groceries, or say, I am doing this action, like I'm turning a doorknob, right? So I'm opening a doorknob, those round ones, you're opening the doorknob, or you are pouring water from a jug into a glass. So this can all aggravate your tennis elbow. And similarly, for golfer's elbow, you will have pain when you're doing this. Well, gripping action can be painful for tennis elbow as well, but golfer's elbow pain will be more on the inner part. However, there are a few symptoms that are common between these two conditions, and let's discuss a little bit about these. There can be weakness in your wrist and hands. You might feel that like if I've got my water bottle here. So this is a glass bottle that I fill up every morning, so maybe I can lift it when it's empty. However, when it's full, I feel like I'm going to lose the grip on this bottle, or I feel the weakness in my hands and my fingers, especially when I compare it to the other side, if you do not have the problem on the other side. So that is one thing. This is especially if you've had golfers or tennis elbow for a long period of time, so more chronic cases. Another thing is that you might have stiffness around your elbow. So you might feel that you are not able to move your elbow around as freely as you could before the problem started, or just one sec. Yeah. So as I said before, there can be nerve pain, sharp shooting pain going into your forearm. So obviously, for golfer's elbow, will be more on this side, and for tennis elbow, will be on this side. Sorry. So when we have a sharp shooting pain, sometimes it's not easy to decipher where exactly it is. So that's why I put it into the common symptoms. So these are the differentiating factors and some of the common factors between these two conditions. Now, if you are still not sure as to whether you have golfer's elbow or you have tennis elbow, or you want to find out more, maybe there's some other cause of your elbow pain and does not fit into the categories that, or these two conditions and the symptoms that I described to you, I have made a free guide on what is the cause of your elbow pain. So I will leave a link in the description of this video for a blog that I have written on the same topic. And for those of you watching me on Instagram, the link to the blog will be in my bio. If you can't find it, or you're watching this in the future, you can always message me and I'll send it across to you. In that blog, I have included this free guide that I just mentioned, and there is some more some more explanation about these two conditions that you might want to have a look at. So, alrighty, that was all from my end today. And if you have any questions, any comments, do let me know, and I will get back to you on this. Alrighty, I'll see you guys next time.